Voters are heading to the polling booths and once again in Turkey as the nation experiences its first ever runoff election for the president. The voters will decide whether the incumbent Recep Tayyip Erdogan extends his rule into a third decade or the opposing candidate Kemal Kilicdaroglu secures a historic win. Counting of the votes will begin soon after and a clear winner is expected. Both the candidates engaged in an intense campaign on Saturday in their last attempt to woo the voters. A neck-and-neck race is expected just as the first round of voting in which Erdogan narrowly missed out on a victory. Erdogan has defied the forecast of his political demise in Turkey's elections. In his final rallies, Erdogan urged the voters to turn out and complete, and I'm quoting here, the unfinished work. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate Kemal Kilicdaroglu touched on issues like the economy, repatriating migrants as well as women's rights in his final rally. The election in Turkey comes amid various economic troubles such as high inflation and a record currency depreciation. It comes months after the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that caused massive destruction in Turkey. There are some other major issues that also divide the voters. Some want to see a change, while others are happy with the current leadership. In the first round of voting that took place on May 14th, Erdogan secured 49.5% support, falling just short of the 50% majority mark needed to avoid a runoff, while Kilicdaroglu secured 44.9%. For more on this, our correspondent Lara Williolon sent us this report from Istanbul. Take a look.
So the turnout is expected to be the same or even increase in this runoff for the presidential elections. And in fact, the vote abroad that it finished last weekend, it increased slightly, like around 40,000 more people casted that vote. Almost 2 million people abroad have voted for this runoff. And by now, here in Turkey, polling stations are open since some hours. They've been told us that a little bit less people have come, but slowly they are coming, and the process of voting is much faster because in this time they only have to choose for the president. So all the process of getting the identification and voting and casting their vote is much faster. The campaign for this runoff has been slightly different, especially considering the opposition, because the difference between Erdogan and Kilicdaroglu in the first round was almost 4 points. So the opposition has tried to attract more voters for this runoff, and in this process they are trying to get the more nationalist base of the country, the ones that were not satisfied in the first round, neither with Erdogan, neither with Kilicdaroglu. So Kilicdaroglu especially has changed with more tough messages during this campaign against refugees and against Erdogan.